Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about AI training plans, strength workouts, and social media.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
So, at the time of recording this, one of my Instagram followers and former clients sent me a reel about this woman who's in an airport, picked up a magazine and saw an article talking about beauty procedures. It sounds like Botox, fillers, things like that. When she looked at the photos, they were all AI generated. So none of these women in these photos were real, meaning none of the results in those photos were real. So they're talking about getting Botox and fillers for fine lines. Maybe they were talking about liposuction because one talked about having proportionate, elegant curves or something like that. Elegant proportions, I think, is what they used. And what the hell? My Instagram follower was like, it's already hard enough, let alone exceptionally unrealistic beauty standards. What the actual F? So, I play around with AI a lot. I use ChatGPT a lot. I don't use it to write all of my things, but I use it to take what I've already written or what I've already said and either summarize it or help clear up the verbiage and the wording and just make it sound a little bit more cohesive. Because when I do these podcast episodes, if I don't have it actually typed out and I'm just riffing, sometimes I'm not saying the most concise and efficient way to say something. And if I want to write that in an email, in an Instagram post, in whatever, I want it to be a little bit more clear and concise. And I use ChatGPT for that. I have put in at various times, I've put in different information to get different training plans, strength workouts to see what it's going to spit out. And ChatGPT and just these AI things in general are so interesting. My mentor, my coach for business, she has a new podcast, ChatGPT Curious, and it's so interesting because it's not spitting back necessarily results. I'll have to go and listen to her podcast episode again. But it is spitting out statistically what's most likely to be accurate in this statement. So not everything is accurate. And I have seen this time and time and time again. I used it maybe 2 weeks ago. As you know, I like to crochet. And I started crocheting in 2023, started with the Woobles. Highly recommend. This is not sponsored, but I highly recommend if you're interested in doing crochet, learn from the Woobles. It was fantastic. Anyway, I have now progressed past the Woobles and I am doing I'm doing Disney princess dolls. So I'm working on, who am I working on right now? I'm working on Mega right now. And one thing with these Disney's princess crochet patterns that I have, it's 26 patterns. I bought them maybe a year ago or so, and I'm just slowly working through each of them. The problem with them is the way the head pattern is working, it makes it like hexagonal instead of spherical. There are these hard edges on the head. So I've been trying to figure out how to make that not happen. And I know why it happens. It's hard for me to adjust the pattern to make it so it doesn't happen. If you're a crochet person and you know exactly how to adjust the pattern, please send me a DM, runDisney DPT over on Instagram, because I've been playing around with it and it's working so far. But it's a little frustrating for me because I just kind of play around with it and then I forget to write down what I just did. And I don't want to frog it to go back and count. So anyway, what I did was I said, oh, I'm going to take a screenshot of this portion of the pattern and I'm going to put it into ChatGPT and I'm going to say, adjust this pattern to make it so that the increases don't fall one after another. So that's what happens. When you are crocheting, you add increases to add more crochet stitches in that row, and then you repeat rounds to add height. So if I want a bigger head, then I need to add increases. And if I want a taller head, I need to add repeat rows. So the increases being in the same spot each row after row, that's what gives it that hexagonal pattern instead of being smooth. So I wanted to adjust and do, if it's 2 single crochet increase, 2 single crochet increase, and then the next one is 3 single crochet increase, 3 single crochet increase. The increases are going to be the same spot row after row. So it's going to create this crease. But if instead I did something like 2 single crochet increase for one row and then the next row, 1 single crochet increase, 2 single crochet, that would put the increase at a different spot. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful because if it where you put the increases and then eventually the decreases actually changes the shape of the pattern. Just like I said, it's hexagonal in one way and it's not in another. But I also don't want to create another awkward way of the head looking. So it's trial and error for me right now. So I said, I'm going to put this in ChatGPT. And at first, when it came back with the recommendation, I was like, oh, this looks really good. And then I looked at it. And the first crochet row was supposed to have 42 stitches. And when it spit it back, the first crochet row had 45 stitches. And I told ChatGPT, I said, no, you did it wrong. It's supposed to have 42. And it says, oh, you're right. Great catch. And I'm like, I don't need to be praised for this. Just do it right the first time. And it never got it right. No matter how many prompts I put back into it, it didn't get it right. And I am lucky that I recognize that because I kind of know what I'm looking for. So I could pick it out. But that wasn't going to work for me. And it wouldn't work for somebody who isn't well versed in crochet. If they're brand new to it and ChatGPT spits something out, who knows what that head is going to look like? Same thing with training plans. I just used ChatGPT. I did 2 separate things. I did ChatGPT and I did Gemini, which is Google's AI. So I'm going to look at Google's AI first because that's the first one I did. So I said, this is the exact prompt. I'm going to read this. Write me a marathon training plan for a slow, injury-prone runner in her mid-40s who has knee pain. So it gives information and it says, prioritize low impact activities and cross training, substitute runs, consider replacing with things like swimming, cycling, elliptical, aqua jogging, or pool running. That's great. That is top notch. I completely agree with that. Then it says gradual progression with smart mileage increases. It says the 10% rule. I kid you not. It says it right here. Increase your weekly mileage by no more than 10%. If you're a beginner, even smaller increase like 5%. Emphasize strength training. We're going to go back to the 10% rule in just a second. Emphasize strength training. Focus areas. Strengthen the muscles supporting the knees, hips, glutes, and core. Weakness in these areas can contribute to poor running form and knee issues. Targeted exercises. Squats, lunges, step-ups, leg presses, leg lifts, clamshells, hip bridges, side leg lifts, core exercise like planks. Prioritize proper warm-up and cool-down, warm-up before, cool-down after. Pay attention to running form and equipment. Listen to your body and prioritize recovery. Nutritional consideration for older runners, and then a sampling weekly schedule. So a lot of this is good information. It talks about running form and equipment. So I talk about equipment. I talk less about running form. I really think it's so low on the totem pole when we're for the group that I'm talking to. Prioritize prioritize warm up and cool down? Absolutely. Prioritize strength training, listen to your body, prioritize recovery. So all of this is well and good. Let's talk about the strength training first. Friends, if you have knee pain, can you imagine yourself doing squats, lunges, step-ups, and leg presses? Maybe you can. Maybe it's fine. But for 85% of my clients who have knee pain, squats, lunges, step-ups, and leg presses cause pain. And then core exercises, planks, yes, that is a core exercise, but are there other ones? So not great. Let's go back to this weekly mileage because now Gemini, I'm on Gemini. Gemini does a sample weekly schedule for me. And actually, now that I'm reading this before we get into the 10% rule, it says Monday cross training, Tuesday short easy run and strength training, Wednesday rest or cross training, Thursday short easy run and strength training, Friday rest or cross training, Saturday long run, increase mileage gradually, potentially substituting with some walking or lower impact options, Sunday rest or active recovery, gentle stretching, foam rolling. So according to this weekly schedule, it says rest only one day a week, because if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I want to train for a marathon, when it says rest or cross training, oh, that's a great option. I'm just going to keep training. If you don't know any better, you're going to be like, well, when do I rest? When do I choose cross training? Right? Okay. Let's go ahead and look at this training schedule. Weeks 1 through 4 is base building. First long run, 3 miles. Second week, next long run, 4 miles. Third week, next long run, 5 miles. Week 4 is a cutback or a rest week. Run 3 miles. Those are the long runs. And then Tuesday, Thursday, it has 2 miles, 2 miles, 2.5 miles, 2.5 miles, 3 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles, and 2 miles. Friend, do we remember when it said follow the 10% rule? Total weekly mileage, week 1, 7 miles. Week 2, 9 miles. Week 3, 11 miles. Week 4, 7 miles. Friend, none of that follows the 10% rule. None of it. 7 to 9 is not 10%. 10% would be 0.7 miles. So what is 2 divided by, that's almost a 30% increase. That's 28.5% increase. Then it says weeks 5 through 8, gradual increase in mileage and intensity. Key considerations for an injury-prone runner with knee pain. And so then I said, write it out week by week so I can print it, because it just had week 1 through 4, but not the rest. And then it still just did week 1 through 4 again. And I said, that isn't written week by week. I need it to be able to print this conversation. And so then it does the whole thing, not in a table format, whatever. And so week 1, weekly mileage, week 1, 7 miles, week 2, 9 miles, week 3, 11, week 4, 7, weeks 5, 12 miles. So that one is the 10% rule. Week 6, 14 miles. That is not the 10% rules. Week 7, 16 miles. Week 8, cutback, 10 miles. Week 9, 17 miles. Week 10, 19 miles. Week 11, 22 miles. Week 12, cutback, 14. Peak and taper, week 13, 24 miles. This does not seem like the appropriate training plan for an injury-prone runner from my professional opinion. I've been a physical therapist for 13 years. I've been interested in how people recover from injury since I was 10. I'll be 38 this year. I've been interested in this stuff almost my whole life. And I have seen patterns, and this will be a pattern for a recipe for disaster. Now let's go to ChatGPT. I gave it the same prompt. Write me a marathon training plan for slow, injury-prone runner in her mid-40s who has knee pain. I literally copy and pasted. Run less, recover more. 3 runs per week max. Run walk intervals, strength training, slow mileage build. Increase long run by only 1 mile every 2 to 3 weeks. Cut back every 4 to 5. Pacing rule, long run should be easy, about 90 to 120 seconds slower than a comfortable pace. Most of that is good. And the problem with that is something that I see in the Maha movement right now is you sprinkle in some things that are actually good with things that aren't. And then you think that those things that aren't good are good because so many other things are good. So let's look at the training plan. It's a 16-week marathon training plan. If you follow my free training plans on my website, you know that mine are closer to 26, 27, 28 weeks. Yes, it's long. Okay, weekly structure. Day 1, easy run walk. Day 2, strength training. Day 3, run walk intervals. Day 4, cross training. Day 5, strength training. Day 6, long run or walk. Day 7, rest or gentle yoga and stretching. Again, they have 1 rest day. 1. For somebody who's injury prone, you need your rest. Rest and sleep is when your body recovers and repairs any damage that is happening. And every single person who works out, who runs, who strength trains, there is inherently some micro damage happening to your muscles. It's normal. But when we don't take the time to rest and recover properly, our body can't keep replacing the things that have been damaged, micro tearing, things like that. And then it can't catch up anymore once you've been doing it, usually for 6 to 8 weeks. That's when shit hits the fan. You may have noticed that once you get into a training plan at 6 to 8 weeks, you're not feeling so hot anymore. It was going swimmingly for 4 to 6 weeks. And then the 6 to 8 week mark, you're like, oh my God, what happened? The divorce came out of nowhere. There were no signs. I use that sarcastically. There is a trend on Instagram and it's like, the divorce, it came out of nowhere. Usually from people posting on Reddit saying, am I the asshole? And it's something like, I can't imagine why my wife is so upset. It's typically men saying these things, but it could be any person saying it to their partner or their spouse. And it's like the signs were there. It's like Taylor Swift signs. I gave you all of the signs. Okay, so let's look at this long run progression that it has, that ChatGPT has. Every 4th week is a cutback week to allow knee recovery. I do like cutback weeks. Every 4 weeks is actually a little too soon, in my professional opinion, but here we are. Week 1, long run, 6 miles. Week 2, 7 miles. Week 3, 8 miles. Week 4, cut back to 6 miles. Week 5, 9 miles. Week 6, 10. Week 7, 11. Week 8, go back to 8 miles. Week 9, 12. Week 10, 14. Week 11, 16. Week 12, cut back to 12 miles. Week 13, 18, excuse me. Week 14, 20. That's your max long run. Week 15, 10 miles. That's your taper. And week 16, marathon week, race day. Okay, so couple of problems. If you are just coming back from an injury, do you think that going out and running 6 miles, a 10K, is realistic? It's not realistic. It's not realistic. That's why I start all of my training plans at a 5K, but that's not realistic. If you have been around for any length of time, even if you're new, welcome. I recommend going through the 0 to 5K training plan before you start any other training plan of mine. I know a 5K sounds like nothing. It's still technically considered a long run. 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile. If we look at professional athletes doing these things, the ones who run in the Olympics, you have the short distances and you have the long distances. The 5K is in the long distances category. There are things like the 50 meter, the 100 meter, 400 meter. Those are much shorter. 6 miles is not the starting point. That's the end of a training plan for me, for a 10K, right? Start at the 0 to 5K distance and then go on to marathon training. So don't start at 6 miles. Don't even start at a 5K. And going back to what I said, a 5K sounds like a short distance, especially when you see all of these quote unquote fun runs at 5K distances. Friend, fun run stands for fundraiser. Fundraiser run. But that doesn't flow off the tongue. Fun run does. So please don't use 5K fun run, meaning, oh, it means anybody can do it. No, it means it's for a fundraiser. Don't start at a 5K. And then increase weekly mileage by 1 mile for the long run. I don't even know what the rest of the running looks like in this training plan because ChatGPT did not write it out week by week for me. So let me ask it to. So I said, write it out week by week for me in a table for a training plan. So now it's actually changed its mind. Now it has Sunday and Monday as rest days, strength on Tuesday and Friday. Wednesday is 30 to 40-minute run walk intervals. Thursday is cross training. Saturday is a 6-mile easy run walk, excuse me. And then, or it's the long run. I just read week 1. So now it's changed its mind. So which should I do? Should I do those 2 days of rest in a row? Should I not? The strength workouts are better. Now, I'm not sure since I use ChatGPT so much. I started a whole new chat, but I don't know if it's taking some information that I have put in there in the past and using that to make the strength workouts, but let's see what it has. It has glute bridges, Bulgarian split squats, clamshells, side plank with hip lift, bird dogs. And it even has in here glute bridges or hip thrusts, clamshells or band walks. Now, glute bridges and hip thrusts to me are the same thing, but I bet what it's thinking is hip thrusts being where your back is on a platform or something and you're thrusting up that way. Clamshells or band walks, side plank with hip lift. Okay, so it does an either or for some of these. Now, which one should you do? Right? Which one is better to do? And then strength B, it has step-ups, Romanian deadlifts, single leg balance reach, pull-off press, and farmer's carry. Okay, some of those sound pretty advanced to me. We have no idea what upper body strength is like for these people. That's okay. Run walk intervals. Start with 3 minutes running, 1 minute walking. Friend, no, don't. Don't do that. If you're starting off, especially if you're injury prone, my professional experience is your walking portion needs to be at least equal to, if not double, your running. So I would flip this. 1.5 minute running, 3 minutes walking. Cross training, bike, pool, elliptical, great. Love it. Cutback weeks, 4, 8, 12. I love the cutback weeks. Peak week, longest run 20 miles. Love that. Taper weeks 15 to 16. I need a longer taper for a marathon. You need 3 weeks. You need 3 weeks. End of story. You need 3 weeks. So if you didn't know what you were looking for, you could take this information and you'd be like, oh, great. ChatGPT just gave me a great training plan. But starting off at 6 is not great. You don't have to cut back every 4 weeks. You only need to every 5 to 6 weeks. Now, it's not necessarily going to be detrimental to cut it back every 4 weeks, but it's not necessary. So you could keep increasing a little bit and have that cut back less often. And then it doesn't say anything about following the 10% rule, which is good because it doesn't follow the 10% rule. But now that I've said that, it did say increase the long run by only 1 mile. And then later it increases it by 2, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So it didn't even follow its own rule. And that goes back to what it's spitting out. It's not spitting out truth. It's spitting out statistically what is the most likely way to finish this statement. Okay. Now let's go back to talking about AI for social media. I have big opinions on this, and I part of this is not necessarily AI, but just filters and things like that. You will notice I don't use filters. I think it's kind of crummy. This is me. This is what you get. If I have a pimple on my face, you're going to see it. If I have bags under my eyes, you're going to see it. If I have my hair a mess, which it kind of is right now, it's all over the place, you're going to see it. I don't care. I don't care. A couple of years ago, when I was first starting my online business, my family follows my accounts and everything. Thank you so much for your support. I got a comment saying you should really do your hair and your makeup before you go on video. No, I'm a recovering perfectionist. If I had to do my hair and makeup every single day to get this stuff out into the world, I wouldn't do it. And I tried. That's how I felt in the very, very beginning when I was first doing these things. You will notice that in the beginning, I always had my hair done. I had makeup on. If you really go back and search in my videos, YouTube history, it was detrimental. I could not get it done. I sit around in my yoga pants, a workout t-shirt or a sweatshirt. I'm barefoot or in slippers all the time. This is what I look like. If I had to get dolled up, I wouldn't get this stuff out and you wouldn't get the information. So, no, I don't do it. I don't care if I don't look perfect. I don't care if you think I'm ugly. I do not care. The information I'm putting out there can work for anyone, whether they're dolled up or not. And I don't use those filters because it's not real. It is giving a false sense of, I look bright-eyed and cheery after a 3-hour long run. If I'm going to be tired after a 3-hour long run, I don't want to put out the information to falsify and be like, oh, look at how good she looks. That was barely any challenge. No, my workouts are hard. I did a post yesterday. I had just finished my long run. It was peak week at the time of recording this for Disneyland Halloween half marathon weekend. And that run felt great. I felt like I could have run for 5 hours. But I was still tired. I don't really remember what my face looked like. I was wearing sunglasses because I have blue eyes, and blue eyes in the sun just don't get along. But I wasn't purposely hiding or filtering what I looked like. I was protecting my eyes and not giving myself a migraine from squinting. But if I was feeling dead after that run, I'm not going to put on all of this facade because that's unrealistic. And so now all of my potential clients, current clients, listeners, viewers are going to think, oh my God, what is wrong with me? She does it so easily. Now, granted, I don't share every mishap in my life. Of course, Instagram is the highlight reel pretty much. We don't show it. I don't show every single thing. But also the things that I'm going to show, I'm not going to mask or put on a facade. And that's where like AI in social media can become a big problem. What is real and what is not? That magazine article with the AI generated images, holy cow, is that false advertising? I don't understand how they can get around that. Well, I guess they're not advertising technically, right? Like I think it's an article about these different things. They're not advertising for a specific company. I don't know. That may be a gray area. But if you see like people working out in these super strong muscles or these super skinny, it's a big deal in the weight loss industry because the number of people who adjust their videos, adjust how they're standing to make it look like they're skinnier, their boobs are bigger, their butt is bigger. It's outrageous. I don't care. If I have a flat butt, I have a flat butt. If I don't have big boobs, I don't have big boobs. If I have a couple of rolls in my tummy, so be it. Like I posted a video and the angle wasn't great the other day. 80% is good enough. It's fine. I have a female body. I get bloated. I have a uterus that then shows itself. Like all of these different things. It's not perfect. So when you're looking at something online, social media, an ad, a photo, a video, be mindful. It may be AI generated. There was a video I watched the other day of a gorilla. I think it was a gorilla. Forgive me if it was a different kind of gorilla looking animal. I don't know all the differences, but it's a mom gorilla who's like cleaning up a pile of stuff, and then a baby gorilla comes over and messes it all up. And the topic is, see, even gorillas go through it. Mom, you're doing fine. And that's a great message. It's an AI generated video. That did not happen. It was cute. I love watching all these videos. I love watching the ones with the elephants. I saw a video with rabbits on a trampoline. That was AI generated. And actually in the video that I watched, it was a stitch. So at the end, the dodo, which I love that Instagram account, the dodo was like, that's AI generated. I almost fell for it. But watch this bunny. Where does that bunny come from? It just replicated from one of the others. Now, of course, the ongoing joke is bunnies just replicate randomly, right? Like, because they screw like bunnies. But that was AI generated, and that's how you could look for that. And so it's just fascinating to see all these different things on social media. Some things are real, some things are not. Be mindful of what you're watching, what you're viewing, what you're intaking, and don't get too down on yourself if you don't look like that influencer or you don't look like that coach who's using a filter. You don't know what that filter is doing to them, because although it may just be a filter that makes it look like it puts on makeup, it may be making them skinnier or more aesthetically pleasing in a variety of ways. Don't compare yourself to that person. And when it comes to making training plans, strength workouts, be mindful of what you are seeing. Use critical thinking skills. And I hope I'm giving you the tools for you to be able to look at that plan critically and decide, is this for me or do I need an adjustment? Because I want you to succeed. And that may or may not be working with me in one of my groups or in a one-on-one capacity, but I want you to be able to take information you're seeing on the internet and use your critical thinking skills to say, are they talking to me or should I keep scrolling? Is this marathon plan for me? Is this dopey plan for me? Is this half marathon plan for me? Or should I keep looking? Is this strength workout for me or should I keep looking? Use those skills to critically think. AI, I think, is a wonderful tool, but you have to use some discretion, some judgment when you're choosing what to use and what not to use. I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, you can DM me, runDisney DPT on Instagram. I also have a new Instagram account strictly for this podcast, Running to the Castle Podcast. You can look that up on Instagram to find information and reels and submit questions that you have over there on there. I'd love to see your outcomes, so keep me informed. Let me know how you're doing with your training. Please take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your strategy for your RunDisney race training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right balance so you can finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.